Taylor Swift.
Good morning. Welcome in to another episode of Good Morning Nasdaq. You are live right here on the Clover Trading YouTube channel. My name's Dom. That image of words says Huddy and is Huddy. Huddy, let them know it's you.
Hey, it's
Hi,
Huddie. How
Huddy.
you guys
Thank you for
know?
being here this morning on the 10th day of September, year of our Lord 2024. It's a beautiful day, a little foggy out here in the great state of Michigan. I see you guys having some fun in the chat already this morning. William in here, Mash for Fun. Nemo, P Daddy Slim. What up, P Daddy?
Hey, Daddy.
NRHP, good morning, good morning. Hope you guys are having a great start to your week. We want to thank you and show our appreciation for you guys spending your mornings with us right here on the Clover Trading YouTube channel. Be sure to do something for us. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are on a mission to get to a higher number than what we are currently at. There is no specific details on that number right now or where our specific goals are, but we do know one thing. Where we're at right now is not good enough. We need a few more. Hit that subscribe button. If you're here every day and you check right now and you're not, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure that you like this stream as well. Hit that thumbs up button. That will show up to me as the number increasing, and then I won't say another word about it the rest of the morning. I promise, as long as that gets to 50. Alrighty. Slow week so far. We had one gapper yesterday of real note SINT. That ends up pretty much fading all day. We had some other stocks. If you guys are in the Clover Trading chat room over at clovertrading.io. We can also get our watch list every night. You know that I was talking about BLMZ. A lot of you asking about that right now. So we will talk about that towards the end. You know, maybe it does at some point in this stream creep up into our Gapper watch. That would make me feel great because that would mean it's up towards 4. But yeah, we are pretty slow. We do have gappers, one that is 100%, one that is 80%. So we'll talk about those this morning as well. If you're new around here, we just like to have a good time, entertain you with our words and our phrases, talk to you about the catalysts of the biggest gappers of the day, talk to you about their fundamentals, their share structure, their daily charts. And then if we have time towards the end, we'd like to answer some of your questions, sometimes regarding tickers, sometimes regarding, you just want our thoughts, which I really don't like that question. You know who you are. But sometimes we do just give you our thoughts. Huddy, it's Tuesday. How are we?
We're good. We're good.
That's all you have to say?
That's all I got for right now.
Okay,
I'm
guys.
just looking. I'm looking at the gappers.
What do you want to start?
I guess I pulled up SMX first.
SMIX, if you will.
Mix, if you will. Yeah.
Let's think about this really strongly first. I got to find out where I'm at. All right, SMX, we're going to head on over to the tracker of dilution. They got a cool name, Security Matters, okay? So they're actually getting across a point. It's a great name for marketing purposes. We know what they're about, okay? I actually don't know what they're about, but they're out of Australia. They're in the development and commercialization of track and trace technologies for various industries. They're looking for solid liquids or gas. What are those in science class? Solid, liquid, and gas are the what? States of matter? Something like that? Right? Yeah?
I don't know
You know. Come on. You were smart.
where it was. Then I started trading.
How were you in school? Give me like your average grade, like across the board.
In high school or college?
One of each and every way.
In high school, I got all D's and C's across the board. I was asleep in most classes. And then in college, I got all A's. I got like a 3.8. I like woke up.
Oh, you started trying.
Yeah, well, the information got better, right? Like in
It's
high school,
also,
like,
I
this is
think, an
stupid.
easier situation. You go from like having to be there all day and wanting to like cry because you're there from like 7 to 3. And then you go to college where it's like, oh, I just have like 2 classes a day. I can find 30 minutes to do my homework. Like that's not that hard.
Yeah, it was I chose to go to college. I didn't choose to go to high school, you know? So like I wanted to be there. Whereas high school, I was like, I cannot do any of this and still ace the test or like at least graduate and put myself in a weird position, but ended up getting to college and it all worked out.
Yeah,
So high school,
I went to high school because they forced me to. And then college, once I realized I was just there and I could do anything I want, I stopped going to class, unfortunately. But SMX, and do you see news here? I don't see news here.
let's check SMX news. So type that into Google.
Security matters. We could write a real cool theme song for him. Anything.
Well, the playoffs for the Z-Max is underway, and that's what keeps coming up and blocking my search inquiry.
Announces reverse stock split. That was on July 11th. Is that 4 months ago? Geez, there's like nothing.
I don't see anything. Right. I kind of remember this ticker a little bit, and the reason I remember it is I've never traded it, but I remember it because it gapped up with back in October with all of the Israeli cybersecurity plays after the Hamas attack in Israel. This was one of them that was on a watch list. I never traded it, but I put it somewhere to check in on lower date. And all I remember is that it's kind of, I think it's like a foreign ticker. I could have that wrong, and it's a low float. And that's why it was on a list. Yeah, it's out of the country of Australia, which I thought was always interesting for no reason. Just, I never really see Australian companies.
Yeah, really, there's a lot of days if you just delete the volume down here where something happens. Big green days is a day from 16. Okay, they've reverse split since we last talked about them.
The last time I saw them, they were 15 cents.
Yeah, I remember that. A lot of wicks into the sky, a lot of super low volume days. Already this morning here in the pre-market, up 100.00%, you can see that volume is quite increased, already at $40 million volume, 10 million regular volume. I don't know why I said it in that order. We're going to roll with it. But you do have some lower volume days that topping out in the $6 area, 15, 22. Once these reverse splits kind of happen, the resistance becomes a lot further away. So this only one that really matters is the $6 area that is on a lot lighter volume than we've seen. Top left to bottom right daily chart. I don't know if you dove into the filings anymore. I saw that they have negative 3 months of cash. Their offering ability is low. Everything else, like they need money. Their risk is high. Overhead supply is high. But the only thing they can't really do is offer right now.
Yeah, I think this is like in the boat of like really not a good company. Should be in the gutter, but they recently did a reverse split just to get their price up, and now it's gapping up and it's in the fours. But I think it's all Fugazi. I think this thing is in the gutter eventually. But as for right now, it's got a 350K float. So it's kind of in that world of just ignore for me. Because I just don't like trading those. But I don't think that this is they have something going on here. I don't even read it. I don't see any dilution that's like really relevant in these levels. But again, you kind of nailed it on the head. Like they have zero cash. So I don't know. Maybe they're like, we're going to reprice some warrants or something at some point. But yeah, the 30-50K float bothers me. I wish it was more.
Yeah, we didn't mention that at the beginning section, but yeah, you say I see 690K float. What did you say?
On Yahoo Finance, it's 300K. On Dilution Tracker, it's 650. Either way, it's going to be lower than 1 mil.
Oh, it's just interesting that we continually. I mean, that's what 2 times this week now. Sub 1 mil float, micro float, nano float, little float. I mean, that's just the thing. It's just the nature of the day and age we're in right now.
When all these stocks are like under $1 because they're horrible companies and they can't achieve financings because of interest rates or whatever it is, like their only option is to reverse split. And so I think we see a lot of low floats because of that dynamic. Not because like they're like just good structured companies. They're just horrible companies that have small floats for now. Like in months from now, they tend to grow a lot.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts? We've discussed it that we can't quite find news. Their offer ability is low. They got random spikes into the sky. Super low float yesterday didn't really pan out. So the market maybe not so ripe for them. Is this one that just kind of spikes towards 480 and is dead in the water, or does this have a shot for all those long bias traders out there?
I mean, hard for me to say either way. I think the odds probably favor that this ends up something like SINT yesterday. I mean, we have a history of gapping up and not the biggest fades, but not the biggest pushes either. Just kind of does nothing. And then the preceding days, it just starts to fade. So whatever news it ever has, or whatever gap up, it just doesn't stick. That's kind of what I see here. So I think that's what's going to happen. If I had to guess, like maybe some push up, maybe some push down, and then either fades or just kind of holds its levels and then fades tomorrow.
Okay, I'm gonna do a quick check in the chat. Make sure someone else, see if someone else has news. All right, I don't see any other news. All right, that's our biggest gap of the day. SMX or SMX, as the kids are calling it. What was next on our list, Mr. Hudson? Capital.
BioKey.
Spell that BKYI.
Yeah.
Wow, see how I guessed it? BioKey. In other words, BKYI. Let's take a look at the tracker of all destinations. Pew pew. BioKey is a 1.9 million float. When I see something over like 1 but below 5, now all of a sudden I'm like, that's a big float. But in reality, it's really not. But it's just because it's not like 400K that I'm like, whoa, look at that. A little meat on the bone. Security and protection services industry out of the United States, 3.7 mil market cap. They are, I like to read the description just a little bit every now and then just to, if we ever find hot sectors, I feel like we missed this on Serve. And if you can just get an idea of who they are and then something runs, we can connect the dots. But I don't see anything. I see secure access, security. And what was the other one called? Security matters. Okay. Maybe they're biometric centric multi-factor identity and access management solutions. Okay. Portal Guard. That's a cool name. All right. Let's see what they're doing. 38 minutes ago, leading government defense ministry awards BioKey $500,000 in follow-on orders for biometric user authentication. Is that like a gift or something? It doesn't seem like a crazy amount for a business transaction like that. 4.3 months of cash. Their offering ability is low as well. Overall risk is high here. Anything you see here?
Kind of what I'm like tucking in the back of my mind is, it's a contract winner from a government defense ministry. So that's kind of like a good, I guess it's a good PR. Cash in the bank over 3 years. And they need cash, right? And this is a good way to get it through their business operations, not through financings. Other than that, I see some warrants in the threes. So 324, we got a couple guys, and 315, we got a couple guys. Not too much. Volume can definitely overwhelm that by the time it's even there, if it gets there. And yeah, the rest of it, you kind of hit on the head. It's got, that 1.9 mil float, still on the low side of things, right? Like, I think like my sweet spot is like that 5 to 10 area as like a gap and crap short seller. I like that area a lot more than sub 5. And I like 1.9 a lot more than sub 1. But still going to be pretty volatile, I imagine. And we'll see if like BioKey and SMX are like at all connected. I mean, they're both security stocks.
They seem to be some sort of a friend group of two. I don't know if they have any others, like any kind of lurkers in the group as well that are just kind of like around, but they only kind of come out on Fridays when they go to the movies, or if it's like a day-to-day thing, like after school. But when you're connecting the dots here, looking at two low floats, top left to bottom right daily charts, similar industries. Is
one
this
has a catalyst? One doesn't.
Yeah. Is this a world where you're like, it's both or it's nothing? As a gap and crap shorter, are you looking at them individually? Or are you saying, I'd be a poop fart not to say that, hey, if one's gonna go, they're both gonna go.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to make that correlation, because even if they weren't in the same like sector, I'm putting quotes in the air, you guys can't see it, but even if they weren't in the same sector, I feel like there's algos out there that, like, if one of the gappers starts to squeeze super hard, the algo starts to attack the other one just to squeeze everyone in that one and make them nervous. So I feel like that kind of agenda might be even easier when they are literally in the same sector. But I still think like the odds of both of these fading are pretty high. I just think we're in a month where we've seen so many stocks gap up and fade that, like, okay, I don't know which one's going to hold up, and I can't tell you what the criteria is for like a day one 90% gap up to hold up. So that's kind of why I feel like they both will fade. But again, anything's really possible with these low floats.
Anything's possible in life, Huddie, as well. I thought that was important to mention.
There's no like clear overhead resistance nearby on any of these. So there's nothing on the chart that makes me really. There's nothing on the chart or nothing in the filings that really makes me think that there's like a huge source of supply just overhead. So we might get some strong wicks. Either way.
Yeah, you're looking at two data charts in which, on SMIX, SMX, the resistance is far away. And in both of these cases, you have some volume back here at the end of last year, 2 to 4. But the problem is the volume this morning on both of them is overwhelming those in the pre-market. So it's one of those situations where how much stock do I really put into that resistance? And I don't really put too much into it at all. But when it comes to gappers, it's not something that I'm really all that interested in anyway. I'm using, previous resistance more often as an area of price targets for breakouts and such, not necessarily for buying day ones. But yeah, I'm interested to see. It's Tuesday. It's the early part of the week. We only had one real gapper yesterday. I know you trade TNXP, but that I don't think was on a lot of people's radars being lower priced. I think this will kind of set the stage for at least the remainder of the early part of the week, Tuesday and Wednesday. If these two don't really get going, or it's just quick spikes like Sint yesterday and then fades, I'll be watching from the sidelines on these two. But if it's 3:30 in the afternoon and BKYI is at 470 up 300% and SMX is going sideways, don't say we didn't tell you about the similarities and potential industries here. So that's kind of the big part that I'm taking away, is maybe in a world where these are strong later that connection means something, but it's not even that great of a connection in terms of what that sector is in the market that we're in right now. It's not like when Serve had NVIDIA news and coming off a year in which NVIDIA carried the entire market. All right. That's the biggest gappers of Z-Day. I don't see anything that's all that multi-generational. Where do you want to go here? We got some questions coming in. So people asking about BLMZ, people asking about Wheeler. I think a lot of these people wish that they had our watch list, because both of those are on a watch list somewhere over at clovertrading.io. If you want access to that, head on over to that website, clovertrading.io. Reach out to support if you have any questions. 3Leaf gets you pretty much everything except live webinars, webinar access, video lessons. That's what you get with 4Leaf. Today, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, me and Tim Grattani doing a webinar for all the 4Leaf Clover. So right now, you still have 2 hours to get access to that if you want. We no longer have the free trial because you guys ruined it. And I was one pushing for it in all the meetings, and that's what you guys got to know. Huddie was like, we got to kill it. And once the data came out that people were using multiple emails and trying to get months and months of free content, we had to shut it down. I had no choice but to accept loss, wave the white flag. So no more free trials. I apologize for that. But always keep an eye on boot camps and any holidays that we have, because we do tend to do discounts there if you're looking to get a steal. All right, BLMZ. Let's just hit some highlights here. This is one that I talked about yesterday afternoon. I talked about it from the perspective, and this was a gapper on Friday, correct? That squeezed out very strongly from the ones all the way towards 3. Really was 2 hours of strength before it kind of faded all day. It was kind of a tale of two halves, if you will. First half that, they had them in the first half there. They squeezed those shorts for the first half, and then they relinquished it, and the longs kind of took a tumble. And then what did we see yesterday? We see a day, which is not uncommon. I feel like we've seen it with ASST, BOF. I think you mentioned AGBA when we were just talking here earlier. This 3-day setup, a stock that comes, overextended from 70 cents to 280, pulls back to the 150 area. All of a sudden, it's back at 2 to 250 yesterday. Which direction does this stock belong? Most likely lower. So the longer it holds up, the more interesting it gets. A multi-day breakup, by the definition of Mr. Tim Grattani himself in trading tickers, is a stock sets a high, spends at least 1 day below that high, and then breaks that high. We are unofficially a breakout right now because we still have 17 minutes till the open. 280, I believe, is that level. Yeah, 280 right here. Not a lot of resistance overhead. Potential blue skies breakout. But if we can hold up into the open over 280, then the breakout would be initiated. I am long from yesterday, so it's either kind of at this point going to be a winner or a loser, which every trade technically is. But I don't look at this and go, we did it. We broke out. I'm the freaking man.
Did it, Joe.
I still can lose on this because it hasn't really done anything in my opinion. We're 20 cents past the breakout level. We're pre-market. I don't generally click a lot of buttons in the pre-market. So do we open and die because the pattern is getting kind of overblown and I think too many people know about it, and now people are buying earlier. That's why I bought yesterday afternoon versus waiting till the morning. Now a lot more people bought in pre-market today. Does that mean we don't get the push and the breakout? I don't know. Don't really care. I'm an ignorant, stupid trader. I don't know a lot, so it's either going to work or it's not. I'll follow the technical patterns and the technical levels, and that's really all I have to say about that. BLMZ. Potentially breakout this morning. Wheeler, someone asked about it for you, Mr. Hudson. Wheeler, gap up. Any thoughts on opening surge or gap and crap? That's two different things. You tell them. What do you think about that? Opening really surge or gap and crap. It's up 12%.
It's like, does it fail or does it go up is really what he's asking. It's not really a gapping crap to begin with, because it's not really gapping up all that much. So there's not a lot of room to gap. I would just kind of consider it like a second red day continuation if it craps, if it failed. I wouldn't really label that as a gapping crap. That's number one. And then number two, like I wouldn't trade it for a surge, whatever that is, from down here. Like
it's the opening surge, Huddie.
I don't know what that is. I have no clue, right? Like, is it gonna pop and then it's a low float and there's no interest and it just completely drops and halts down? Like that's a possibility. Or is it gonna pop and there's a lot of shorts in this and it just squeezes up and it halts up? Like that's also a possibility. Either way, like neither of those are a trade that I would ever take. So, I mean, it's like to anyone's guess. If you have edge, if you know why it would go up or why it would go down, like that's your trade, right? I just would never be shorting something at this point in the chart, and I would not be buying something at this point in the chart. So for me, I'm out.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, the question, like these type of questions, I think I can tell usually the type of trader the person is or where they're at in their development, or at least what type of patterns they trade. Because at the end of the day, I think a lot of people think too much. Is this going to spike out of the gate or is this a gap and crap? When in reality, it's not gapping. It's up 13%, which on a stock that's gone from sub $1 or $1 to 12, 13% might as well be peanuts in a farm. I don't know. It's nothing. And so, what is the pattern? Where are we at in the daily chart? We've had two big green days. Yesterday was its first red day. The only possible play today is continuation of that red day, and we go lower, which isn't a pattern for me. I know Kyle has traded like second red day. I don't like them a lot, but the only other pattern is reversal after one red day. So that's a potential for me. But even if I'm playing something for potential reversal, I don't have thoughts on, is it going to go up or down? Like if I'm playing it, I hope it goes up, but it doesn't. I don't have like guarantees or conviction on it. It's more of just playing the chart in the stage that we're at. And right now it's either going to bounce from here because it's 50% off its highs from 12s to the 6s, or it's going to fake. And this is going to, again, we're up from $1 and we're at 7s right now, and it's going to head a lot lower. So those are kind of my thoughts. It's not, a lot of people want to just know, and they want to get to the stage in their trading where, how do I know for a fact it's going to spike today? You'll never get there.
I think like the best thing you can do as a stock trader is try to find similarities in the market or within that individual ticker and like make a, best case judgment call. So like you kind of you heard Dom kind of mention two other tickers when he was referring to BLMZ and the other two breakups that were similar. And so when I look at WHLR, like the other stock that is similar in my mind is CING, which is another low float that had 2 days of excessive spiking, a gap up, topped out in the 10s, 15, somewhere in there, and then had a red day. And I'm looking at that right now and I'm seeing, okay, the next day after the red day was some type of gap down, pushed up, closed kind of where green red was, and then continued fading. And like, if I had to guess, that's the future of Wheeler. Now, if there's a world where a bunch of shorts are caught, and I don't know how to tell this, I have no idea. So that's why I don't play it, because I don't have data on this. But if there's a world where a bunch of shorts are caught, maybe that green candle can go a lot further and break out again. I just don't know how to tell which one's going to do it or not. So it's kind of a situation for me. It's like I'm either deciding at the beginning of the year I'm playing them all that I think set up in a certain way, or I'm playing none of them. And for me, it's like usually none.
Yes, sir. P Daddy Slim, love that name.
Great name.
Dom, why are you in yesterday? And BLMZ wasn't a breakout yet. Trying to understand why you bought yesterday versus waiting for the breakout. P Daddy Slim, that is a great question to kick off the 11 a.m. webinar. So I encourage any of you who want to know the answer to that question to tune in to the 4-Leaf webinar here at 11 a.m. You can also hear Tim Grattani's perspective on it, because I hear from a little birdie in the sky that Tim Grattani is long BLMZ as well. So if you want to hear us go over that in more detail, head on over to clovertrain.io, which is where we are going to head right now, because it's 9:19 a.m. I got to refill my coffee. I got to turn on my screens downstairs, and we got to get after it. All right, Huddie, thank you for being here today. Thank you to all of you. 58 likes. Didn't have to say anything. Appreciate your appreciation. Tomorrow's special day because it is Wednesday, free Wednesday, which means you'll see two of us. Well, you'll see us twice. It's 9:15 a.m. for live trading. Then you'll see us again, Wine Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Make sure that you have notification bell turned on so you don't miss when we go live. I know you might be, these days I know a lot about this, feeding the baby a bottle, sitting down for dinner, doing the dishes, 7 p.m. Eastern. You don't want to forget that we're live for Wine Wednesday. We usually have great guests and we have great conversation. So hit that notification bell. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We'll see you tomorrow morning, in 23 hours and 56 minutes from right now. Have a wonderful day. We'll see all you Clovers right now. And have, I guess I already said have a wonderful day. What else can I say? Be the best version of yourself you can be, and believe in something bigger than yourself.